Hey everybody, it's Fiona from Eventide Reads, and today I'm here to do yet another series review. I really enjoy doing series reviews as videos because I feel I can give more of an overall sort of description of the series rather than reviewing each book individually. Because, you don't want to be spoiling, do you? So today's video, as you may be able to tell, is about the Shiva trilogy and the Sinner companion novel, so the Wolves of Mercy Fall series, which, if you've watched my videos for a while now, you know I am a massive fan of this series. I recently reread them in preparation for reading Sinner, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to do a series review. I think Ling had just come out when I started reading them, or it's about to come out, one or the other. I remember waiting frantically for Forever to come out. I know a lot of people who've read this series who don't really connect with it, but at the time of me reading this series, I was at university, I was feeling quite alone, and a lot of the feelings in this book sort of reflected what I was feeling and how you can overcome it. And, even if you don't get to see the person you love for a long period of time, they're still there, they're still watching over you. So, the sort of deeper meaning of the book is probably one of the things that connects me to it the most. The first book is Shiva. So the main summary of Shiva is Grace is just a girl. When she was young, she got pulled off her back porch by wolves and attacked, and she was saved by one of the wolves. So basically the story sort of rotates around Sam and Grace and the wolves. It's nothing, I don't know, it's not like it's a story that will blow your mind per se, but the way it is written is just something really wonderful and beautiful. And at the time of me reading this the first time round, paranormal romance was a big thing, and I was worried going into it a second time several years later that I wouldn't love it. If anything, I love it more now than I did then. There is something about Sam and Grace. The characters are fantastic. I probably relate somewhat to Sam, somewhat to Grace, and I think that's the great thing, is that there's parts of these characters you can all relate to. They're really strong characters, so, the characters' thoughts, because it's dual perspective, don't sort of overlap or, sound the same, which I know some people have an issue with. This is one of the books that made me obsessed with dual points of view in a book. Yeah, I absolutely adore Shiva, and I said Sinner, blur. I absolutely adore Shiva. It is one of my favourite books ever. So then we have Ling and Forever. I'm not going to go into too much detail, so, spoilers and all that jazz, because I like to try and keep my reviews spoiler free. So two more characters are introduced in Ling and Forever. That is Cole St. Clair and Isabel. Now, Linga deals more with the sort of, I want to say impending doom, but that makes it sound way more dramatic than it actually is. But yeah, Linga deals with a lot more sort of issues of, are things really okay? Are things really going to work out? Whereas Forever is very much more about surviving. It's really hard to put into words without spoilering, which, is why doing series reviews is difficult in the first place, but I like doing them. But yeah, there's just something really great about how the relationships get more complicated, more complex, and with the introduction of Cole and Isabel as sort of main focus characters, because we hear from their points of view as well in these books, that makes you go, this is really, really interesting, because again, Cole and Isabel are very, very different from Sam and Grace, incredibly different. And it's just, I liked Isabel from when she was first mentioned in the first book, and I really like Cole as well. So, all these characters that Maggie writes about are just so real and so, 3D, you know what I mean? They're not flat, they have lives. And when I remember buying Forever and finishing it and being kind of sad that it was really open-ended, but at the same time I liked it because it meant that, to me, Sam and Grace's story wasn't finished, and that, you know, they could still be living on in Maggie's mind, which was great. So I was completely unaware until it was mentioned by Caroline on Bookish Brits that Sinner was going to exist. Sinner is a story about Cole and Isabel. If you've read the Shiva trilogy and you're excited for this book, don't be excited for it because of Sam and Grace, because they don't really feature in this book. There's like one phone call with them. Be excited that it's Cole and Isabel. And you guys, I freaking loved this book. So Isabel moves, and a few sort of months later, Cole goes out there because he's taking part in a sort of reality TV thing because he's a superstar come back from death. And he is fighting to get Isabel back. He wants to be with Isabel. But they're two very, very messed up characters and two very lost characters. And it's a wonderfully written story as to how they find each other again. And I had a major book hangover with this book. Like, I'm trying to read a book now. I finished this like 3 days ago, and I read about 50 pages of this next book because I just can't deal with it at the moment. It was Maggie just writes the best stories, and I was absolutely ready for Sinner. My heart was ready, and I loved it. If anything, getting to read the whole series again has actually made me love it more. I suppose I have a lot of sentimental attachment to this series already, but reading it again as an adult and loving it again, whereas some of the other books I've reread from that age, like The Mortal Instruments, where I didn't love it, has just made me so excited about anything Maggie has to write. So even if you're a little bit curious about it, I would say give it a go, because it's an interesting story if you like romance, if you used to like paranormal. It's just the way the wolves are in these books. They're not like Twilight werewolves. There's just something more about them. I don't really know how to put it into words. It's one of my favourite series. It kind of started my obsession of wolves and werewolves, to be honest. I love anything with wolves. Anything. I really should have been wearing my wolf necklace for this review. That would have, gone nicely. But anyway, never mind. I hope you guys have enjoyed my little review, and that you all read Shiva or go and buy Sinner if you've already read the trilogy. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased that I loved it just as much, if not more, the second time round. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Bye!